Today is the 28th Sunday of Ordinary Time, Cycle B. The first reading is from the Book of Wisdom. In Hebrew, wisdom is a feminine word, and therefore wisdom is referred to as her rather than it. Today's reading is a reflection by Solomon on his prayers when, as a young man, 21 years old, he became king and was overwhelmed by the responsibilities of being in charge of the large kingdom he inherited from his father David. While royalty was associated with riches, priceless gems, gold and silver, Solomon did not ask for these things because for him they were like sand and mud compared to wisdom. Wisdom is the brightest of all lights and allows us to put the will of God before the desires of humanity. What do you pray for? Most people except those engaged in spiritual warfare with force of evil, or who need to pass an exam, usually pray for things: house, car, job, money, health, a boyfriend or girlfriend. Rarely do people pray for wisdom, which enables us to seek prudence, patience, compassion, mercy, and understanding. Although Solomon only prayed for wisdom, he received many, many material blessings. In Jesus' time, the belief was that wealth was a blessing from God, and the wealthy were holy. Please note that the chief priests and the elders were usually rich men. Jesus loved the young man and was pleased to know that he had kept all the commandments, and he wanted to do more. However, when asked to sell all that he had and give it to the poor and then become a disciple, he could not do it. He had too much wealth, just could not do it. Jesus wants us to do more. He calls us who attend Mass every Sunday to enter into a deeper relationship with Him. He wants us to be involved with ministry of the church. Is the demand for 2 hours a week with a ministry too burdensome for you? With wealth comes power. Power can be used for the good of the community. For example, to build water wells for the poor, shelters for the homeless, to feed the hungry, clothe the naked. Or, in a negative way, to satisfy one's selfish desires, like a big house, expensive cars, designer clothes, jewelry, etc. Money and power attract gold diggers who will tempt you with their sexy bodies. Money can also be used to fuel our immoral desires such as lust for the spouse of another. Jesus uses the satanic hyperbole of the impossibility of a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven by himself. It is as impossible as for a real camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter heaven. There was a minority interpretation that through the eye of a needle referred to a small opening in the wall which was designed for passage of individuals only. Therefore, a man coming with his camel loaded with goods cannot go through. Either understanding supports that without God's blessings and help, the rich will not enter into heaven. The greater your wealth, the greater is your responsibility to help the poor. The rich will have to depend on God's guidance and protection for their salvation, because they will face more temptations of the flesh and will have the power to pursue selfish and sinful desires. Peter was worried that if the rich, who he thought was blessed, could not enter into heaven, what would happen to them, the apostles, who were materially poor, had given up everything for the kingdom? Jesus reminds us that true wealth is love between family and friends. If we live as brothers and sisters in Christ, we shall have great wealth, lots of family, and lots of friends.